What's up, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of following me through my transformation challenge journey. This has probably been the most challenging week yet. Just wrapping up the second week of the transformation challenge. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, and I've really decided that this only way to describe this past week was giving the acronym WTF. Not the WTF you normally think of, but wins, threats, and fun. I had a lot of fun activities that went on this week. For example, the Michigan team won the national championship for the first time in my lifetime that I can remember. I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me. And then also the Lions, go Lions. This is the first time they won a playoff team in 30-ish years. So super exciting about these big wins and fun stuff. But also personally, I did some good wins myself. I was able to get all my meal prepping done, and I was able to prep with sweet potatoes and white potatoes. And I typically haven't been able to prep with these these carb sources in the past because it just takes so much time. So I was able to make the time, carve it out of my busy schedule to make sure I was able to prep the potatoes, which gave me a lot more fulfillment throughout the week, being able to have a lot of variation in my meal prep, because based on my eating schedule, which I actually keep right here, I'm eating every 2 hours. So every meal is a little bit in different size, but there's 3 meals throughout the day that I have a carb, a protein, and a vegetable source that it's not just a shake or whatever. So it's nice to have that variety. So it was a pretty good win to be able to get that meal prepping done. So that was exciting for me, a big win there. Also, with seeing my weight, I've been tracking that successfully every morning. I've been writing it down. I've been seeing variations, ups and downs, both ways, but I am trending downwards, which is really exciting to see there is some success going that way. The Orange Theory Transformation Challenge weigh-in date is by the January 22nd. I'm hoping to get my weight down for that weigh-in to be at about 165 is where I want to be for that weigh-in date, because then 8 weeks from there would be the Orange Theory Transformation. That would be that challenge. But my challenge, as I stated last week, started on the 1st. I really want to push my boundaries with what I can do with Orange Theory. Speaking of Orange Theory, I would say that was a big win this week. I was able to make it to about 6 out of the 7 classes. So almost every day this week, I was going to do an Orange Theory class. And I actually didn't make it to the 5 a.m. class every day this week. There was a few times that I actually had to stay up later than I had planned. I get into that when I talk about the threats. And I ended up going to a later class, but I was able to find a way to make it to one of the classes 6 out of the 7 days, which I would say was a big win for me. One of the classes, in fact, I learned some new exercises I really enjoyed, really working with the Bosu ball. The first Bosu exercise was front lunges for 12 reps, followed by a Bosu kneeling scaption, which I really enjoyed this. My coach was challenging me to lift my toes off the ground, so you really engage the core while doing this exercise. So not only are you working your upper body, but you're also really strengthening your core, especially by lifting your feet up. The hip bridge hold, cross body single arm tricep extension, may be my favorite tricep extension ever now. I always love a good Bosu hold, but being able to use my arm in this sideways motion to strengthen my tricep was really challenging, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed doing this exercise. Next, we did the sit up to rotation, and we did 12 reps of that. So it was really fun just to kind of do new exercises at Orange Theory. So I would really say that was a win this week as well. The last big win for me of this week is getting my walk in. I told myself that each week I want to walk my dog about 6 miles. So we typically have a 2-mile loop, walk that 3 times. In the summer, no problem, but we've recently experienced some pretty awful weather here in Michigan. So getting through that was actually more difficult, and I was able to accomplish that. So that's about it for the wins. Now let's go into the T of the TF, the threats. So as I kind of alluded to, this weather this week has been really, really cold. Getting the mental strength to go outside to bear these low temperatures was very difficult. Earlier in the week was a little bit warmer as it ended in the week in the negatives, especially with wind chill. So it got harder as the week went on. The last day of the week when I was walking Milo, I actually put boots on him. So that was cute for like the first 2 seconds before the first boot fell off. And he made it back home with 2 boots on. And we were able to make it through the cold. One of these days, I actually went out and shoveled. So that really got a lot of my activity points for that day in as well. It got so warm shoveling. Like my heart was like beating fast during these shoveling, and because the snow is heavy, it's like ice snow, so it's like it started off like super damp and heavy, like wet snow that turned into ice. So it was probably the hardest workout this week. By the end of it, I had my coat off, my hat off. I was just snow pants and goggles because it was kind of snowing still. So any of my snowboarders out there that have snow pants and goggles, I recommend shoveling with those. You don't need the coat or anything else, just those 2 things, especially when you get that body heat up. But that was definitely an obstacle this week, a threat to my success. But I was able to kind of overpower the cold by dressing warm. Another threat this week was I was challenged with a lot of free food. I love free anything, especially free food. It's always such a hard temptation for me to say no. Our office was kind of doing this like thank you to employees for showing up at the office type thing, and they had, I don't know, 100 boxes of donuts, like just so many donuts, all Tim Hortons. And I recently discovered I like the Boston cream, so you can watch that donut video Eric and I had. I'm sure you can link it below. But I was actually tempted. I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. I'm like, I'm not going to break. And then the next day, if that wasn't challenging enough, they brought in free bagels and cream cheese to one of my meetings. I'm just like, oh, okay, don't need these. It did help, as I was talking about earlier, the meal prepping. Having all those meals prepped for me. I bring around 3 meals to work with me every day, starting with my oatmeal, and I have a little protein source with that. Then I have a sweet potato or white potato meal, followed by a rice meal. The rice is like lean ground beef, rice, and like a red pepper. And then the white potato or sweet potato has like a spinach, it would be my vegetable source, or a green bean as my vegetable source. And then it has chicken as like my protein source. So I had meals planned out, so I couldn't justify the fact that I was starving. That is one thing that will always be a detriment to any sort of fitness or eating nutrition goal, is starvation. Do never allow your body to get to starvation. Your body does not like to starve. Couple things happen. One, if you start being super hungry, you might start making bad decisions of what you're going to end up eating next, because all you can think of is, I just need to eat now. So you end up overeating or eating the wrong foods. So starvation is never good. The other thing that happens is, because your body is experiencing starvation, it's more likely to start storing energy sources in case you get to this point in the future. So you're constantly just not eating throughout the day, and then you have like one big meal. Your body's more likely to store a lot of that sourcing, that energy, more than it actually probably should. But it's just kind of like working. Your body is amazing. It does amazing things, and it's really smart. So if you starve it, it's going to make sure it's storing. So don't starve. You don't want to be storing. This challenge for me, this transformation challenge, is to be efficient with my energy sources I'm putting in my body, and to use my energy for what my output is. So I'm actually trying to like be useful and efficient with the energy I'm putting in my body and putting out of my body, because I am working on getting my activity levels up. Speaking of activity levels, the next thing I would say was a challenge for me was my bike. As you remember, last week I said I wanted to get on my bike 4 times a week, 30 minutes each. Last week I did a pretty good job at this. This week, not so much. I was faced with the challenge of my bike just not working. I called tech support and everything. The screen just white with a little logo on it, and it says it's just not working. Tech support from NordicTrack is super nice, but not helpful at all. They said the only way I can get this fixed is by buying an entirely new monitor screen, which is going to run me about $585, and I don't have that kind of disposable whatever right now. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay. So I just really need to get over the fact that I don't have a working bike and just pedal with a black screen and watch my phone. For any of you out there looking to buy an exercise bike because you're so inspired by my journey of riding this bike, I recommend getting a Peloton. I didn't get a Peloton because I thought the NordicTrack was better as far as like better cost. It was a lower price at the time. And it also had a lot more features that I thought were cool, including this like automatic incline, and the videos I really thought were super engaging and fun. And I thought like this was a better thing. Turns out I would go back on the decision in a heartbeat, knowing that it's going to break, and never mind. I'm going to get worked up about it again. So you can join that, but at the same time, Peloton is expensive. So if you're really looking just to get on a bike and just get some extra movement in while indoors and staying warm and not having to go to a gym, go to Amazon, buy the basic bike, spend $100 whatever on it, and just watch something on your phone. There's a lot of different, there's an iFit subscription. There's a bunch of different like fitness subscriptions. You even just go to YouTube and like find a video to watch somebody working out and work out alongside them, or just get a playlist, or just play solitaire on the bike. Just do something to get your legs moving, because that's all that really matters when it comes to this activity goal, is just to move. So I would recommend not spending thousands of dollars on the bike. If you just want to get something, just get something cheap. Just get something that gets your legs moving and go on from there. Lesson learned. The other threat for this week, it's more of like a challenge and just kind of like one of those things that is just part of life and unexpectedness. I knew that this week was going to be hard for me because it is the year anniversary that I lost my oldest dog, Luca. He was literally my best friend for so many years, and he was really, really hard saying goodbye last year when he was 14 years old. And it was also the same anniversary, the same date that I lost another great person in my life, my mom's boyfriend, Gary. He was so instrumental in so many different ways in making mine and my family life so much better, and it's still to this day such a difficult loss. So I knew that this week was going to be just mentally challenging in those ways. But in addition to that, we also lost somebody else that was great. One of Eric's like friends from a softball team. Again, super sudden, unexpected. He was only 40, so it's so hard to like lose somebody that's so young. And we had viewings and funerals this week. And let me tell you what, it is so hard to stay focused on your fitness goals and your routine and your meal preps when you're going through that kind of mourning and loss. It's difficult, but it's one of those things in life that is unexpected. It's one of those things that it's gonna happen, unfortunately. And at those moments, like, you really just need to be focusing on giving yourself grace, being present with the people around you, and really showing your love and support. But you also need to be loving and supporting of yourself, and continue to make better decisions when it comes to your nutrition and health, because it is so easy to go find that pint of ice cream and just down it. But that's a temporary moment of relief, of feeling like this is very tasty. In the long run, that's not going to make you feel better. What you put in your body will definitely help your mental health. So watching what you eat, choosing nutritious foods, seeing the ingredients that are going inside your body does have an impact on how you feel mentally. So it's so important, especially on times that are really, really difficult, to continue making healthier choices. Now, if you're not perfect, that is absolutely okay. No one expects you to be perfect. Like I said, giving yourself grace, being present in the moment, those are the two most important things. But don't completely put it on the back burner, because the nutrition in your body is going to be important. It's going to help you get through the next year or so, or whatever it's going to take. But yeah, that's a threat. It's a real life event, and it's something that we experienced this past week, which made this week really difficult. But it also made the wins that I did achieve even bigger to celebrate. So that's a W. That's the T's. Now let's move to the F's. The fun I had this week. So my really good friend Chelsea took me to a Red Wings game. So that was super fun, super exciting. Go Wings. The Wings won. They don't always win when I go to the game, so that was like really exciting. They played the LA Knights, and that was a good win. Really fun just going out to Detroit and like experiencing the, I almost said the Little Caesars Arena. If you know, you know, comment below, the Joe. So that was really fun. And then the next day we had people over for the Lions game, and that was again super fun. One of the things that I did to prepare for the Lions game, knowing I was going to have people over, knowing that people are going to want to have snacks, is I prepped five different types of options. One of them was inspired by the Red Wings game. They were showing this healthy carrot recipe, so I cooked up a carrot recipe. The carrot recipe was super easy. It had 2 pounds of carrots, salt and pepper, a little bit of oil, and then I'm avoiding dairy products at the moment, so I got this vegan Parmesan. You would have never known. It was delicious. It was fantastic. Next, I made these quinoa sweet potato black bean bowls. Those were also very delicious in my opinion. I think that this was probably the second favorite of the night. It was just sweet potatoes. We had a little bit of chili powder and cumin, kosher salt, garlic powder, and a half juiced lime. And this next one, I used a why can't I say that word? Rotisserie. I used a rotisserie chicken. I shredded it, and then I put this vegan mayonnaise and Greek yogurt in with it, and I just seasoned it with like garlic powder and a bunch of other seasonings. Mashed it all together, and then I threw it on some lettuce wraps, and it was delicious. Actually, that might have been my favorite of the night. The only thing I was kind of missing to balance it was maybe like a salty snack. Like if I would have roasted like some white potatoes and made them in like a French fry thing, I think that would have been a perfect match between those two. But I had fun doing it. I learned a lot. Oh, and I made this other thing. It was kind of like a brainchild of myself. I mashed up some sweet potatoes, and I put them in a mini cupcake pan. So I like shaped them in the size of a cupcake. Baked that on like 425 until they got a little bit harder. Took them out of the cupcake pan, put a little bit of that avocado like squeeze in it, and a little pico de gallo on top. That one might have been my favorite. That one was just simple, easy, fun, and it was delicious. It was really easy to make. So that was my fun for the week. So next week is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be packing and planning a trip to Australia, which is super, super exciting for me. It's my birthday weekend. I'm going to be with my best friend. Like, wow, what a chance of a lifetime. Like, I'm so excited about this. Like, I never thought I'd have a chance to go to Australia, but to go to Australia with my best friend, like, this is a moment in my life that I'm looking forward to so much. And it's my birthday weekend. So what better way to bring in the new year? And being in Australia, I'll be turning however old I'm turning. Very first way possible on this earth, because Australia hits the new day sooner than anywhere else in the world. So I'm bringing in my birthday in the first time zone possible. So that's kind of exciting too. Anyways, so next week I'm going to be talking about what I'm packing, how I'm planning, how I'm going to stay on this diet while traveling. Like, I think the flight's like over 20 hours long. Like, that's a lot of time just sitting and doing nothing. So I'm talking with Eric, trying to figure out like a good game plan about what we're going to do to stay hydrated, to stay well fed throughout the trip, and how to get my exercise and workout plans in while traveling. I need to maintain my activity levels. I need to maintain my food nutrition, but I'm not going to have all the same resources I normally do. Like, I'm not going to have Eric, which is a really great resource to keep me motivated and keep me going, especially on the day-to-days. And then I won't have my Milo, so I don't have a little doggy to walk. So like, how am I going to make sure I'm going outside and walking? Plus side about Australia, it is summertime there, so I will be packing a swimsuit and enjoying the sun as much as possible. So hopefully that helps burn some calories that way. I don't know. This is going to be an adventure, guys. I'm super excited. And I'm excited to take you guys along with me. So, yeah, next week will be the packing, and the week after will be about my entire trip. So really, really exciting stuff. But I'm looking forward to talking to you all next week. All right. See you later.